So by now, you've probably seen this video making the rounds in which a young lady talks about her brother who was falsely accused by a woman of SAing her when he came to her rescue and potentially saved her life by giving her the Heimlich maneuver at work. Let's hear some of what she had to say, shall we?
He performs Heimlich, but then gets called into HR. Yes, that's what happened to my brother. So he works for a company that has an on-site cafeteria on campus. Okay, so it works out great for many of the employees. Him and his team, before a presentation, went down for lunch. I think it was a team about 6 to 8. I don't remember the exact number. They went down for lunch, and one of the girls on the team started coughing really bad. Everyone at the table was like, "Hey, are you okay? Are you okay?" And she's like, "Yes, yes, yes," until she did this whole motion, right? And then she starts pointing at her throat. So obviously that's the motion of I'm choking, okay? And so my brother quickly gets up because he was sitting next to her and does the Heimlich, which then dislodges whatever that was stuck in her throat, like food or some sort. She turns around, she say, "Hey, thank you so much." And then one of the other girls took her to the bathroom. He thought that was the end of it. Apparently not. 2 days later, he gets called into HR. He's a little bit confused about what's going on. They stated that there's an investigation open on him for SA. Apparently, she reported him for SA because she felt the touch during the Heimlich was inappropriate. Their bodies were too close, and that she could feel his private. They took his statement. They said they're going to investigate. So he said it took about a week or so. They called him back in, and they said that he was cleared.
Now, if you watch that video and what many women are saying in the comments, you might think this is just a one-off. One of those rare occurrences where a whack job makes an allegation against a man who came to her aid. Well, I hate to break it to y'all, but this isn't all that rare. In fact, it happens almost every single day. Now, I have a unique perspective on this because in my prior career, I was the head of IT in several companies, and as such, worked with HR departments on dozens of investigations and allegations made by women. Some very close in circumstances to this one, in fact. I've also, in the process over the past few months, talked to, corresponded with, and interviewed hundreds of men for a book I'm doing about false allegations, both in the workplace and in instances like coming to the aid of women in distress. And let me tell you, it's irrelevant what the findings were afterward. In this case, it's irrelevant whether or not HR, after the investigation, said the man was, as she put it, in the clear, or in corporate terms, the allegations were unfounded. The fact of the matter is that the investigation is now on his employment record and will forever be. Those allegations may even carry over to a future position in another company if they're found out, as has happened to more than a few men that I've spoken to. Men who faced similar allegations which were proving to be false beyond any doubt. What, you think companies don't talk to each other? And while you may think these investigations are conducted discreetly, in private if you will, mostly because that's the lie HR departments tell those who were accused, I can assure you they are anything but. Like in this case, if you think others in the office don't know she made those allegations, if you think the woman who made them isn't talking to others and informing them that she did make them, if you think others in the company don't know something's going on, that an investigation is being conducted, especially after he was called into HR, well then you're a fool. Especially having personally conducted many investigations like this, I know that in a case like this, all of the people around the incident would have been interviewed by HR and the investigation team to get their testimony as to what really happened. And if you think those people aren't talking about it amongst themselves or with others, well, my friends, fool doesn't even begin to cover it. There are no secrets in the corporate world. Tongues will wag, and I have no doubt every person in that office knows exactly what's going on. And remember, we now live in the Me Too era, the believe all women no matter what era. So there's a good portion of those people who won't care about the realities of the situation, won't care about the facts, won't care about the findings. Hell, most of them might not even know the particulars of the findings. They might not even know that the allegations were found to be false. What they will know is that a woman made an allegation against the man and HR did an investigation. And thus, in their minds, as we've seen time and again, that man is guilty. Period. End of story. No ifs, ands, or buts. If a woman claims a man did something, then by golly, he did it, and that's that. Add to it that many, even if they do know the particulars and results, won't accept the HR findings. Hell, I'm willing to bet some of those who witnessed it, and even some who conducted the investigation, will still believe he's guilty. I saw it time and again when I was part of investigations. Due process is a joke. There absolutely is a presumption of guilt towards the man, and that presumption will never go away, no matter how much evidence to the contrary is found. Facts are irrelevant in these cases. It's the allegation that matters and what will ultimately be believed. The findings of innocence, well, most will believe the company is just trying to sweep things under the rug to protect themselves and the man. Don't believe me? Ask yourselves, how many times have you heard just that? Ask yourself, how many times have you heard or read about a man or men being accused of something, yet never heard a thing afterwards? Mostly because he was found to be completely innocent. And we can't have the fact that women make false allegations by the millions every year getting out, can we? But it doesn't end there. Oh no. Let's hear the next part of the story.
After that incident, she has been overly nice. She has apologized multiple times. He's already accepted it once, and she keeps apologizing it over. Then she's like, hey, let me buy you dinner. Let's go out to the movies on the weekend. And I reminded him, don't do it. Never be alone with her. Make sure you're in a group setting. If you can't be alone with her, make sure that, there's cameras or you're visible somehow and whatnot. All right.
So let me tell you what's actually going on here, because I've seen it before. This woman is pissed that her allegations did not get upheld. She's pissed that the man wasn't fired or charged criminally. So now she's trying to set him up. Yes, you heard that right. Set him up. Because you see, once that investigation was completed, both parties would have been told to stay away from each other. In large companies, they'll usually try to transfer one of the people, almost always the accused by the way, to another department or office. In smaller companies, the two parties will be told to stay away from each other unless it's an absolute necessity, a business matter. And even then, communication between them should be strictly about business and only business. Yet here this woman is trying to play nice by apologizing and offering to take him to dinner or go out to the movies. Here she is trying to interact with a man she claimed SA'd her. Let's think about that. If this woman truly believed she was SA'd by him, why would she be trying to get the guy to essentially go out on dates with her? And if she knowingly made a false allegation, why would she be trying to further compound the situation by trying to get him alone again? It doesn't make sense unless you understand her true motivations behind it, which is to be able to make another allegation against the man, which she can then argue is proof that the first one was true. Now, I know women are going to say, oh, she's just feeling remorseful, feeling guilty, and wants to make up for it. She's just trying to make things right. Child, please. If she felt any remorse whatsoever, she'd have made her apology and then gone around and told people she lied or misread his intentions and simply let it go. She'd respect him and respect the need to stay away from each other, and in fact, do everything she could to stay away. The last thing she'd be doing is trying to get him to be alone with her, especially outside the office. Which is why I can say with absolute certainty that's what she's attempting to do here. Set the guy up. As I said, she's pissed. Pissed she wasn't believed. Pissed her allegation didn't destroy the man. Pissed she didn't get her way. So she's trying to create a situation where she can make yet another allegation in order to reinforce and justify her first one. Now, the sister is telling him, don't do it. Make sure others are around or there are cameras. And I get she means well, but none of that is going to protect him from another false allegation, which I'm telling you is almost certain to come. In fact, if anything, it may end up hurting him even more. If, for example, there are cameras and it showed them talking and those cameras were video only, which, by the way, in the corporate world, most are, then it's going to show he, even after she accused him of a criminal offense, was still willing to talk to her and be around her. That he had no fear of her. And then there's nothing to stop her from claiming that he started making sexual advances to her, making threats of retaliation, or a host of other things. It will be her word against his. And who do you really think they're going to believe? Who do you think they're going to protect?
Well, she gets pissed off, all right, because he's keeping it professional, colleague to colleague, okay? And so she comes up to him and says, you know what? You're being a jerk, okay? She goes, I'm trying to be nice to you, okay? And you are just being standoffish and distant. And so basically you're being petty at this point just because I filed a complaint on you. What did she think was going to happen? That they were going to be like best buds or something?
I've done dozens of investigations, and yes, seen just that happen more than once. But even more telling about her motivation is this, and it's that classic, I'm going to get him just because I can motivation that flows through most of today's modern women, the ones especially empowered by the Me Too movement. What I found interesting is how the sister in the video asked, what did she think was going to happen? To which I say, she didn't think. She felt. And with women, it's not about thinking. It's about what they are feeling. And in this case, the woman feels discredited, feels she wasn't believed, feels she didn't get justice. The real question I'd like to ask this sister is, knowing yourself how women are, why would you think for 1 second that she wouldn't be responding the way she is? Because again, it's exactly what has happened for years now to millions upon millions of men in the corporate world and throughout society. False allegations are rampant, and when found out, the response of the women who make them isn't one of contrition or remorse. It's one of seeking to get back at the person they accused even more, of proving that even though they know they lied, that it should still have been believed, if only because she's a woman. The woman in question has, as all women inevitably do, wrapped herself up in her victimhood. She feels wrong that her feelings, her accusations were called into question, and worse, weren't believed. And because her feelings trump anything else, like say, I don't know, the facts, she's doing what any woman would do, which is trying to absolve herself of any guilt or responsibility for her actions. And in the process, she's also looking for revenge. How dare she not be believed? How dare she not win? How dare the man didn't get held accountable? It's the way women are towards men throughout all of society. How they seek to destroy men any chance they get, even men they supposedly loved at one time, even men who are the fathers of their children. It's why the overwhelming majority of divorce cases, some lawyers saying up to 80% of them now, have some sort of allegation of abuse or worse made by the woman. The silver bullet is real, very real, and women fire that bullet every chance they get because they know they can do so with impunity. They know they'll never face any consequences for doing so.
And so I told my brother, document everything and take it to HR.
Now, as to the sister's suggestion that he document it and take her actions to HR, I agree he should, but the fact of the matter is, it's not going to work out well for him when he does. Yes, he needs to try and protect himself, but she's just simply going to claim that he's retaliating against her. In fact, I'm willing to bet most of the HR department is also going to believe it's an act of retaliation, especially if, as is the case with most HR departments, it's made up mostly or entirely of women. The fact of the matter is, this man's career in that company is finished. It was over the minute he made the mistake of helping that woman. And it pains me to say it, but he should have just let her choke to death, because in the end, he is the one who's going to pay, and pay dearly. It doesn't matter how many people testified that his actions were innocent, life-saving even. It doesn't matter that HR investigated and found the accusations unfounded. As I said earlier, those allegations are now on his record. And in an era of believe all women, there are always going to be some who will believe her over him. Add to it, the company isn't going to put themselves at risk advancing someone who was accused of SA. Don't believe me? Ask yourself then, why is every man that Trump has put up for his cabinet faced an allegation of SA or the like? Why is it the first thing that's brought up to try and deny them the position? And why is it all you hear is that he was accused? None of them have been found guilty, but accused. Yet they're being slandered simply because of the accusation. And they do that because they know that is all it takes. An allegation to destroy the man, his career, his reputation. And as that shows, that allegation is going to stick to him like glue for the rest of his life. And in this particular case, the young man's chances of promotion, his chances of getting raises are gone. Gone for good. His best option, in fact, I'd argue his only option at this point, is to leave the company, to give up his job. So great is the risk to him that he should do so immediately. He should notify HR what has transpired since and why he's choosing to leave. He should inform them that it's an unsafe work environment and that due to that, he is going to leave and seek legal counsel regarding the threats being made by the woman and the company's refusal to address them. He should ask HR why, after an investigation was done, one that cleared him, the company chose to put him in a position where he had to engage with his accuser in any way and wasn't protected from further allegations being made against him. He should also document that his accuser, at least to the best of our knowledge from the video, faced no repercussions whatsoever for her false allegation. Something, by the way, I can attest has never happened in all the investigations I was a part of, even when we had indisputable proof the woman was lying. The truth is, no company is going to risk holding a false accuser accountable for fear of the potential PR backlash if that person, a proven liar by the way, goes public with it. Oh, and the man, he should also strongly consider getting a restraining order against the woman because she's clearly got issues and is making it blatantly obvious she is going to seek further revenge. No, it won't do much good, but it's something, and this man needs to do anything and everything he can to protect himself.
He saved somebody from choking, then gets a complaint for SA. Then the girl apologizes. Then she now calls him a jerk. I can't even imagine if he had performed the CPR on her and had done mouth to mouth. Oh no. Yep. Be careful. Because I guess next time he's supposed to just like, no, not me. I'm just going to watch you just struggle. That is wild. Mm-hmm.
In the end, this man hopefully has learned a valuable lesson, and I hope those of you who are watching this have too. While I know as men it's in our nature to help women, to come to their aid when they're in distress, but that's a mistake in this day and age where it's believe all women and me too. The risk of facing a false allegation, the risk of losing not just your job, but your reputation, indeed your freedom, simply because you did the right thing is too great. The best advice I can give you is to take the advice of women. The women who say, we don't need no man. We can take care of ourselves. I say, let them. If they're choking, if they're broken down on the side of the road, if they're being attacked, let them fend for themselves. Because in the end, the person who is more likely to suffer a terrible fate isn't her, it's you.